Hello, and welcome back to the Household of Faith. This week's topic, we're continuing on with setting goals. And today we're going to just come right out and tell you you need to spell it out. Habakkuk 2 and verses 2 and 3 is a familiar verse of scripture for most of us, and where the Lord tells Habakkuk to write the vision and make it plain, so that he that reads it may run with it. Now, it's funny because yesterday my sister and I were talking about this scripture. She had said that, she had some questions about it when she read it, and I pulled it up and we talked about it. And I was telling her that, God always knows what He's doing. Now, He gives me the subjects that I'm going to be talking about well in advance. I could say that this week's topic was planned out over a month ago. And I know it's funny because I talked about the other day diligently planning, and I talked about how if you have a plan, but how you need to sit down with the Lord and you need to come up with a plan based on what the Lord tells you. And a lot of times the Lord will give you an idea, and in this case, the vision that Habakkuk had was for the future. And it wasn't something that was going to happen right away, but people were going to have to wait for it, because many people will come along and say, "Oh yes, 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 it's now, it's now, it's now." But like, no, it's not. It's going to be a long wait. But the Lord wants us to trust that even though you have to wait for it, it's still going to happen. So the vision, and I'm gonna go ahead and just stick with that. When God gives you something, a plan of action, you need to write it down. You need to make it clear. You write it down as clearly and concisely as you can remember it. And then you need to pray about it and say, Lord, if I've forgotten anything, remind me, tell me, show me again, or whatever it is that you might need to do to make sure that you have all the information correct. Because the people that read it, they need to be able to read it clearly at a glance. It needs to be so clear that they don't have to wonder, what is this talking about? What does this mean? When we're talking about something that hasn't happened yet, and I mean prophetic, whatever your plan is, whatever your goal is, or because this is all about goals, whatever your goal is, it needs to be so clear that there's no misunderstanding, there's no misconception at all. We don't often reach our goals as fast as we would like. You have an ultimate goal, and we talked about that yesterday. The ultimate goal is to spend eternity, in God's presence. But in the meantime, we should have goals that we are setting, whether it's natural goals or spiritual goals. We should be setting both. Now, personally, I have a natural physical goal. It's to lose weight. I do. I need to lose, yeah, probably about 75 pounds. I don't think that's accurate. I know I've lost some weight, but I go to Planet Fitness and they don't believe in scales, and I can't trust the scale because the floor is whatever, and so I always get excused. So I have to go by what my clothes say, and I've misplaced my measuring tape, so I can't even use that anymore because hey, if the measuring tape reads 25 inches and you need to get down to 20, well, hello, there's 5 inches in there, so at some point you should be able to measure and see some difference. So that's just an analogy, all right? But what I'm talking about is we have to set short-term goals within our long-range plan. That is a very basic proponent of economics. Whatever it is that you want to reach, this is where you want to be. It's just like going from A to Z. Well, you can't see Z clearly because D is fat in the way. Think about it that way. So whatever it is that you're doing, you want to spell it out clearly and succinctly so that anyone can understand what you're talking about. And then when it's all written down and you're sure that you've got it right, you're going to have to wait for it to happen. That doesn't mean sit around on your laurels and do nothing. Do what you need to do, but you are going to have to wait because it is going to take some time. Remember that. Don't get frustrated. Don't get in a hurry. It's going to take time.